Clickety clackety, it's time to attackity.
Roll for apathy.
That's not things.
How much do I care about what's about to happen? How much? How much?
Ooh, that's not true, everyone. It's Hector's birthday and we love him. He's here for you. He's here for all of us.
Like an insurance firm. I'm here for you.
I'm here for you, even if I am slightly contractually obligated.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. All right, we should do the thing then.
The buttons. What, the buttons?
Boop. You have been doing a lot of buttons this month. I do have to point that out.
I am behind from yesterday, but because I was hiking and I wasn't on top of things.
You are hereby forgiven.
Huzzah. Thanks, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. We did it.
Yay. Once again, the day is saved. Thanks to the redemptive power of Jesus Christ.
I don't know how many people watch these things before we get serious, but you're welcome.
I feel like you watch it because you don't it's aggravating to actually have to rewind and fast forward and stuff.
Right? That's true. So those of you that are on this YouTube journey, congratulations, I think.
Achievement unlocked.
Achievement unlocked. You have listened to Chris and Hector pontificate 2 minutes before every show since we started videoing these. For listeners like you.
Pontificators, mount up. It was a clear black night. Cold black Warren G's on the streets trying to consume.
It's really sad to me that maybe only 3 of you get that.
Because we're elders.
Yeah. The elder statesmen of comics and LTN. Well, here we are.
Huzzah.
Let's do it. Greetings, valued poll listeners, and welcome to episode number 1. Just kidding. It's 101, but I said I was going to do that, and here we are. Of the Poll List Podcast, a bi-weekly show about comics, pop culture, and faith. My name is Chris Poirier, and with me, as always, is the one, the only, it's his birthday, Hector. And I mean, it's his birthday when we're recording, not when you guys are actually listening to this. So if you randomly tell Hector happy birthday on Wednesday this week, that'd be kind of funny and awesome.
Yes.
Because he'll get to celebrate it. He'll get to celebrate it twice.
Bring it on.
Does that mean you get more cake?
Only if they're mailing me cake or cash apping me cake. I don't know how that works.
Please cash app me some cake.
Yes. There's our how we're going to fund all of LTN's futures endeavors. It's the Cake app.
Is the Cake app?
It's not Cash App. It's Cake app.
Yep.
You just
TM register copyright.
You QR code something and you get cake.
Hold on.
See?
I need to write something down real quick.
Scan this QR code and a cake shows up at your house. God bless America.
Oh man. That says so much about us. It's amazing.
It's effectively DoorDash, but whatever.
Yeah, what? It's Cake app. It's way better.
Cake app. You can make it look like the Cash App logo just with some candles on top.
That'd be perfect. Note to self: create Cake app after episode. Oh man, we're back at it. We're sorry we missed you guys last time.
Back at something.
We're back at talking about comics and stuff. So
yeah.
I mean, so strap yourselves and prepare yourselves for we've got comic side.
Better put the word out. Get ready for the nerd out. Better put specs on. Better bring next on. I cut handsome checks for my expansion sets. They call me Obi-Wan. Act like you know me, son.
Neon glow. Is this our last one? Or do we have one more?
No, don't tell them. Shh. We've got one more. Just kidding. kidding, everyone. Everything's fine. On today's episode of the Pull List, we've got a great episode for you. We're going to hit the latest news that you need to know, our must pull recommendations from the last 4-ish weeks. So it's an extended giant size issue number 101 for all y'all. We got some new number ones, or all of the number ones, and so much more. This is the Pull List Podcast.
Upbeat introduction.
Yeah, and hit the stinger right there. And let's talk about some news.
Is that like hitting the quan?
No.
Okay. Hit the quan. Watch us whip and nay nay.
And nay nay. I can't do that. I have no hair. Some really weird articles in the ether this past month. So here we go. DC Comics is in a legal battle, which that half of the sentence alone shouldn't shock too many people.
No, that
because
sounds fair.
DC Comics and lawyers seems kind of that checks out. But the end of this sentence ends in with Volkswagen over the term Blue Beetle.
What?
Yeah, that's what I said too, but I'm actually not kidding. And apparently it's because DC was revisiting a lot of their copyrights recently, and they tried to expand it to a certain extent. And to extend it and all that good stuff, legal stuff, copywriting and everything. But apparently that absolutely upset somebody at Volkswagen, and they weren't having it. So let me see if I can figure out, because
You
when
made
copyright
cars for
things-
Nazis. Let us have comics.
Yeah, there's that. But when you copyright something, you usually have to explicitly say like what particular thing that a copyright's going on. So if you've ever tried to copyright something, it is the most obnoxious and expensive process in the world, because if things fall in different categories, you basically get to keep paying and filing more and more paperwork because government. But so just reading like the registered trademark on Blue Beetle is literally more than a paragraph long of the different things that they wanted to cover it. But I guess somewhere in there, it must have leaned gently up against automobiles somehow. Though I'm not seeing the word automobile in there, but it literally everything from plush toys, balloons, bathtub toys, ride-on toys, playing cards, toy vehicles. Maybe that's where.
That's probably where.
Dolls, handheld playing games, playground stuff, paper face masks, recorded operational computer game software, jigsaw puzzles. I'm serious. It's like this much text. Yeah, toy vehicles. Yep. That they have said, yep, you need to remove that immediately, is basically where that one came down. So congratulations. If you were curious what random thing somebody could get sued over in terms of copyrights and trademarks, DC is currently having a conversation with Volkswagen over whether they can copyright the term Blue Beetle as it relates to toy vehicles.
Well, I meant TikTok is suing our government, and I'm kind of rooting for TikTok, so whatever.
Our litigious society is amazing. Today's episode is brought to you by the word litigious.
Stay tuned for our Schoolhouse Rock special after this.
Nope, not going to sing about it. Sorry.
Oh, we're singing about it. We're singing about lawsuits and copyright.
And copyright.
Copyright. Oh, it's copy wrong. That's why we got this copy song.
That's actually pretty good. We should.
All right. I was pretty fresh off the fly. I'll take that one.
All right. So we might have to work on that for the next episode, of where Chris and mostly Hector sing Schoolhouse Rocks in terms of DC's litigious woes with Volkswagen and Blue Beetle.
Oh, Blue Beetle, why you so blue? They're trying to take those vehicles from you. We got this, baby.
So we got it.
Bank.
All right, scrapping the rest of the episode. I know what we're here for now.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is why I was put here.
Just need to give the people what they want, I guess.
Yes.
But the internet couldn't possibly stop it randomly suing people over toy vehicles and naming them after superheroes. Whatever. Alan Moore tends to go viral every decade for things that he said very far in the past, because if you know anything about Alan Moore, he generally doesn't say a lot.
He says
To
some
the
stuff though.
but when he does, usually the entire world goes, oh, that's a thing. So what's happening again, and not many people are really sure why, but it got brought up. And about a decade or so ago, Alan Moore got caught on the record on talking about the term graphic novel. I don't know if you recall any of this or know what Alan's thought process is here, but basically back in the day, his main thing, especially, and why he did Watchmen as an anti superhero book and everything, was Alan's always kind of been in this thought process of deconstructing comics, for the lack of a better word.
That's where it all started.
And but also probably not, but I'm sure Alan would take credit for that. Anyway, post Watchmen, he kind of stared at the entire comic book community and went, "You missed the point," which sounds about right, because Alan usually, when he's about to make a point, basically talks down to all of us and reminds us where our station is in the comic book literature world, which is nowhere. And so this entire discussion about what does the term graphic novel really mean, what is it supposed to mean, and his comments from back in the day was, it's not a graphic novel. You took 4 of your favorite issues of Spider-Man stapled together, and you're still reading the same child superhero book that you read as a child. So there is nothing graphic about it, nor is it a novel, for it lacks the complexities and nuance of the written prose. Trying to do my best Alan Moore here.
Also,
And
just throw in Satan somewhere in there and you're good.
that checks out. That he's basically like, no, graphic novels should be graphic violent, and then I might give that to you. But no, they're just collected comic books, and you're still reading the things that your weak childhood brain has enjoyed from all of your Marvel years, which is what he was saying without saying it. And that's a thing. And everybody's back now on this whole thing of, well, wait, what?
Well,
I don't know. I feel like it's mostly, let's be reminded how much Alan Moore really kind of disliked the term graphic novel. And to be fair, I feel like there's plenty of indie book publishers over the last few years that have definitely published some graphic novels.
but re-releasing 6 issues of a comic in a trade paperback so that you can sell it again that doesn't necessarily make it a graphic novel. But
Agreed.
even with Alan on his Watchmen project, he still released those issues as single issues first.
Yes, and that was also part of where that comment actually came from, because everyone basically tried to call him a hypocrite for, well, Watchmen got collected, and he's like, yes, but also it is graphic and it is a complicated story, etc., etc. But yes, that it did come out in serial originally as its author intended, and apparently he also wasn't really for the collected edition when it happened. But it's mostly old angry comic book guy shakes fist at empty comic store kind of stuff.
Fair.
But it's just a reminder that apparently everything old is new again, and Alan Moore will just be upset with all comic books until, I don't know, sometime.
Yes.
Probably forever. What can I say?
And then an AI CGI hologram of Alan Moore will like scorn you every time you open your comics app.
Right? How dare you?
I just want you to know your taste is terrible and your collection is worthless. This is Alan Moore.
I feel like it would just be a treat for us all to have him and Neil Gaiman just like disagree with one another for an hour.
Yeah, that would be
just
a treat.
me.
I would watch that.
Yeah, right? Because they're both cynical, but for different reasons.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think it would dramatically conflict potentially, and that would just be that would be quality entertainment for literary and comic book nerds alike. I'm gonna petition for that in my future. That's on my bucket list.
Who would play Neil Gaiman in a movie?
I think the obvious answer is only Neil Gaiman.
No, like pick a youngish, 30-ish Hollywood actor who would play Neil Gaiman in a movie.
I don't know if I know that many 30-somethings currently in Hollywood. They all depress me.
Like in 10 years, Timothy Chalamet could play him, but not now.
Okay. I don't hate that.
No, but he's definitely not old enough now. Then again, I don't think he's old enough to be playing Bob Dylan, but whatever.
And here we are.
Here we are.
So more DC news because DC just wanted to be all about the news this week. What can I say? Gotham City Sirens is coming back for a mini.
Yippity doo dah.
No, that's not your jam. You're not
I
about.
don't know, dude. I don't know. They managed to make Birds of Prey kind of not great, so
That's fair. I did go looking to see if there would be some people attached to the project that might make me go, okay, I'm in. And it's hit or miss. That's all I can say.
who's attached to it?
All right, stand by. That was why I was like, I want some of them to be. It's only a 4-issue mini written by Leah Williams, who I believe is current Power Girl. And Marvel's X Factor.
Yeah.
There's kind of a cross section of other folks doing art and everything else. Meh. Dodson did a really cool first cover. I'd like to see that.
None of that's like swinging on me. Okay, never mind.
But you're like, well, I tried.
Yep.
For those of you that have been hurting for some Gotham City Sirens, you're at least getting a 4-part mini.
No one's been hurting for that.
You see, you say that, but I know that there's someone out there.
Yeah, the person getting paid to make it. We've gotten an unending supply of Harley Quinn. Poison Ivy's been mainstreaming books. Catwoman's got her own book. We have the Gotham. We already have. What did I just say?
Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Catwoman.
No, the crossover book, the one that I just said was not great. Birds of Prey.
Yes.
Like, we've got all of this. There is a metric ton of that. What's Gotham City Sirens going to add? And where even in continuity is Poison Ivy currently? And I'm reading the book, and I don't know what's happening. And Harley Quinn has been MIA for a hot minute in most things outside of her own book. What? And Barbara Gordon, or no, she wasn't always the Siren either. But if you're just doing Catwoman, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy, they're not in a conjoining place to do a book right now. What?
Continuity.
Boo.
There you go. Well, here's the thing for you. Just to kind of make your head hurt for this week. Maybe not. There are such thing as tracking how books are selling and all those things. So out of this particular week's of stuff, what would you think was the number one best-selling book this particular week? So just to give you kind of a cross-section, that was Batman 147, Amazing Spider-Man 49, Venom 33, Doctor Strange, Daredevil number 9, X-Men Forever number 3, Avengers 14, Transformers number 8, and I think I just gave you all of the top 10, but not in their actual order.
I don't know.
Interestingly enough, out of that list, Transformers number 8 outsold everything, including the behemoth that is Batman.
Yeah, that tracks. That's where I was leaning.
So for where you've heard us say in the past that Image's acquisition of the Transformers and all the other adjacent IP that they have picked up over the last couple months and have been cranking out books, clearly they are laying down some stuff that some of y'all definitely want to read. That's just interesting to me because 2/3 of this list is Marvel. There is only one DC book in the top 10 and 2 Image books. Of course, the equally interesting thing to me is Marvel's fan base must be better than me because I am not reading any of those. I'm reading, sorry, hold on. One of those books. So interesting.
Okay.
I did not think that Marvel was banging out those top sellers in books like Wolverine. X-Men Forever being like the 47,000th X-Men book this.
Well, Wolverine has been on a hot streak since issue 45.
So, right. And
he just got his powers nullified, and he has an adamantium suit. No. So.
Doctor Strange, though, being in the top 10.
Was it the New Strange Academy?
No, it was not. It was just regular Doctor Strange number 15.
Huh.
Right?
I saw a New Strange Academy and figured it was that.
Nope. Strange Academy came back just for the Blood Hunt, and technically none of the event books for Blood Hunt, which also came out this week, are in this top 10. So, numbers are weird, but I'm always interested in them because it says something about what's going on out there. I'm not sure what this says. According to this, it says that Marvel must be doing something right. And that almost made all of the fiber of my being hurt a little bit on the inside.
Well, fiber hurts my insides anyway.
Man, are we
But a
getting old?
bunch.
Is that what this is?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, here we are.
I almost died last weekend because I got too dehydrated at a wedding. So, that's a thing.
You're supposed to stay hydrated, friend.
Yeah. Hydrate or dihydrate. Sticker available at the Faith and Fandom booth.
Now available.
Oh, it is. Have you seen my hydrate or dihydrate sticker? Hold on.
What?
Thanks, for real.
Not a sponsor, but a sponsor.
Yeah, hold on. It's pretty cool. It was a on the whim sticker idea, and I just thought it was cool.
It's on the whim, and those of you that are watching us on the YouTube get this preview that you can find at Faith and Fandom. The rest of you on the internet are like, "Oh, that's a very interesting sticker that Chris and Hector were talking about." Oh yeah, that would be it. That is, it definitely says those words in which we have just recently said to you. This is that's high quality podcasting right there.
There you go.
So I guess it's not really news, but it's kind of our transition point. So I'm going to say that, that's what you need to know. That's our bi-weekly look at the industry and delivering you the insider knowledge. As always, you can join us in the conversation. Hector and I and all of your other nerdy friends, not just Hector and I, there's other nerds there, on the Love Thy Nerd Discord. And, you can kind of hang out with us and talk about what you liked, what you hated, what we missed. We probably missed it. And it's a good time. But before we jump into our polls, I guess it's technically a poll. Are we good? It's like quasi joint, but technically it was last episode, but we're kind of like, you read it early. You did mention it, but we didn't spend a lot of time on it.
No, we never talked about it. It came out after the
was it after?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because all the things, but
it's on the episode that would have happened had we done one on time.
That's right. Chris's fault. Good times. Wonder Woman number 8. If you would set the stage for all of our lovely folks.
Part of Wonder Woman's ongoing saga in the past revitalization by Tom King is that there is a patriarchal villain called the Sovereign who operates under basically his power is the patriarchy. And
may the powers of the patriarchy combine. Yeah, none of this sounds good.
And where he has a Themysciran weapon called the Lasso of Lies instead of the Lasso of Truth, and he he's been pulling the strings or the lasso for the last 8 issues, and
Oh, boo.
boo. Sorry, I had to. And now he has Wonder Woman entwined, and he's trying to force her to believe the lie that she is nothing but a domesticated housewife and is not a threat to him or anyone else. Fair setup.
Wait, what? Yeah, no, that's what I read. And so yeah, makes her into a housewife with Steve.
With Steve, of course.
Makes it kind of like that 1950s Leave It to Beaver like general vibe, but in between the going back and forth of like that, what her brain is telling her and everything else, he's also straight up sitting there quoting scripture at her of where she's basically supposed to be in her place, right?
He's using every Bible verse that you've ever heard someone complain about that could be labeled as misogynistic or defaming to women, or that is putting women in a lower place in society. Anytime you've ever heard someone say that Bible verse is anti-women or anything like that, he's using those to weaponize against her, where he's not just quoting them at her, he's embedding them into her.
Yeah, no, it clearly seemed like an attempt of an indoctrination / using the lasso.
But like she's actually quoting them back to him at some point too. And so yeah, it was. And why this is going to be a thing is there's gonna be folks who are real upset that this is an issue, but even though he's obviously the villain of the story and he's using these things out of context for the 90% of it, the fact is those verses exist.
Yes.
He's not fabricating things. And it's that thing of, boy, this is not a good look, but it's not a good look because he's lying. It's not a good look because these things are real and have been used as a weaponization for like ever. So
yeah, I think Hector and I and probably lots of other folks that have been through the church experience have heard a lot of these uttered in the basically quiet down and find your place attitude, which no. So I'm sure there'll be people that'll read through this and be like, yes, that's why the Bible is bad and evil. And other people are like, I don't really see why that's so wrong. And I'm like, it's literally a villain's literally using them out in and out of context to try to tear down a woman. So maybe back up for a second and think before you speak. Of course, some of us lack that ability. It's just an interesting journey, and I think it's another one of those things, and why Hector and I wanted to bring that to folks' attention is there's lots of conversations that are actually taking place inside comics by people that kind of do understand the Bible and the biblical context of things, and are actually providing us with a commentary, and in a lot of cases, a very fair commentary. So this is one of those of, if you're shocked and appalled, I am of the opinion there is a redemptive piece coming in all of this.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of been sprinkling and it's like, no, these are being used by basically a dirty old man that is trying to use and abuse.
I will say this is Tom and his writing reaching further than he's reached before in some things. Because what is it, issue 4? That was the Make-A-Wish kid.
Yeah.
That had a lot of the same vibe, but not aggressively.
And let's also just say, like, the Pull List podcast started on Batman 53, where he went probably the hardest we'd seen him into the theological paint to mix all of my analogies. This was a full issue.
Yeah. Well, where Batman 53 went to the theological paint of actually being pro-faith, pro-Jesus, pro your purpose in God. Batman is not an atheist. Like where it went hard there, this feels like a full swing in the other direction based on this issue. At least in the character of Wonder Woman. But where I would also go said this feels dramatically different than the last issue, which we just got, which was that stupid shopping for Batman's birthday present thing.
So I guess I can feel better about that now because in retrospect, he was clearly setting up these two things are not like each other.
Yeah.
There's a clear demarc in him turning into the all right, stuff's about to get real.
But with that being, well, I feel like they probably needed time to finish the whole arc of this.
That's probably fair.
But to let you make sure you're aware, this arc of this one little storytelling part. What was the title of it? Hold on.
Oh yeah, what did they call it? Because even that was like
Sacrifice is the title. Sacrifice is part 1 of 3. So there are 3 issues of this stuff happening with Wonder Woman number 8, and and she even goes to a point of saying, "I don't believe your God." Or in your God. Now that reference could be straight up saying to the sovereign's God and people. The first article I saw listed on it is this Wonder Woman's war against Christianity was the first article I saw headline.
Of course, which was exactly what happened with Batman 53 of did Batman just admit he's an atheist? And all the rest of us read it and went, that's what you took away from that?
Yeah. And also, don't use scripture in inappropriate context to oppress other people. The more you know.
The more you know.
Hit us for freedom that Christ has set you free. Just don't be a douche.
Oh, right?
Oh, so yeah, there's that.
So
now,
yeah.
So we will be on hiatus by the time issue 10 drops in this story.
Yeah, we might have to do a special or do a Hector Faith and Fandom Summer Edition to cover that if it is appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. All right, well, now let's tell the people all the other things that you read, because Hector apparently is doing his best Chris impersonation this week. So
it was very Chrissy. But I read 17 books this week.
That's I read
a lot. Sitting right at $100, $101.
I did not even dip into the free comic book day books that I could have potentially threw in here too. I haven't read any. I got some because some I want to see. Some are just interesting. One that you may appreciate if it's in your pile, or I'll send it to you after I read it, is they actually did a collection of basically all the worlds that Tinian has created. I think they said over the last 10 years, give or take. So it's literally all of his different kind of off the wall universes that he has books in. And I was kind of like, that's kind of cool. I kind of want to see what that's about.
So before we jump into pulls, I'm going to go ahead and say this, that Nightwing number 113 is Nightwing's birthday issue. Like it's his birthday, and today is my birthday.
It's Rick's birthday?
No. It's Dick's birthday.
It's Dick's birthday.
But also, we were talking about this before we started recording. Next issue is the end of Tom Taylor's run on Nightwing, and it has been a glorious run. And so I appreciate you, Tom Taylor, and what you brought to this book. Let's jump in. What did that say? What's the words there? Hold on. Okay. Space Ghost number 1 is the first pull I'm gonna throw out there, and I just picked this up because it said Space Ghost, and
coast to coast.
I am a product of the 90s and Cartoon Network and Toonami and Adult Swim and all that stuff, and I love Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Like,
love it.
There is a album called Space Ghost Musical Barbecue.
Yes.
Which is the collected works of Space Ghost the show or Coast to Coast, and it's like
Yeah.
that used to be my voicemails, bro. Like the I
Right.
love beans. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like I and then the one time I met the voice actor for Space Ghost at Dragon Con. I said,
Mhm.
so tell me how you feel about musical barbecue. And he's like, this is his response. Oh, I'm not from Atlanta. I don't know where to get barbecue. And then he signed my print. I hope you find the barbecue you're looking for.
Oh my god.
So I'm like, and I was like, okay, never mind. I'm just gonna keep going.
That's brilliant.
Like he literally forgot that album existed.
That's so good.
So, but Space Ghost, you literally get some Batman the Animated Series level Space Ghost as a vigilante hero thing. You get Brack as a villain with his mask off and everything, and like some classic sci-fi stuff. And this just reads like a, pretty classic sci-fi struggle. And like, I'm just happy to see these characters in like some non-comedic forms. I don't know that I would continue reading this, but I definitely had a blast reading this one, and
I
I
mean,
may keep reading it.
you kind of said the quiet part out loud of an entire generation, primarily our generation, knows who Space Ghost is because of Space Ghost Coast to Coast versus the fact that Space Ghost is a legitimate character.
Right.
From a legitimate thing.
The fact that he used to be a superhero for real, and we know him as the cartoonish talk show host.
There's an entire generation that Space Ghost Coast to Coast, C-Lab 2021, all these things that we're riffing on actual things that occurred.
There's a doodle in my noodle, and its name is Minky Boodle. Minky Boodle. Like I have the CD. It's autographed. It's autographed by Zorak.
Zorak is the best accompaniment to anything.
Yes. Oh, that was literally, I found myself every page I turned waiting to see Zorak.
Zorak being, that's stupid.
So that was just fun. I will say maybe the most fun I had reading this 17 issues with Faith Returns. I did not give.
I didn't see that.
Oh, bro, so fun. Now here's the thing: I did not read all of. Who do you freaking think? Jody, bro.
Even better.
Right.
I'm really disappointed that I missed that.
Jody Hauser, who's someone who we've worked with at cons before, and who is a
I have a limited edition Faith pop that Valiant gave me from that show that Jody signed.
Yeah. Jody is the best at writing Faith, and it's her baby. And Jody does a lot of great things, but her stuff on Faith was really fun. And this picks up after the events of Faith's book. But like, if you don't know a lot about Faith, we can talk later. Wink, wink.
No, boo.
Boo. He said,
youth pastor vibe. No.
He said in Jesse Pinkman voice, boo.
Boo.
Boo. But no, like if you haven't read all of Faith's arc or anything like that, this is something you can pick up because it's her living. This is Better Call Saul for Faith.
Oh, interesting. That's cool. That's a good vibe.
She's literally living incognito, wearing a disguise, working at Cinnabon. Like it's that.
Yes. This is when Valiant's universe works best. That the whole point is that a majority of the characters within that universe actually are normal people that are in just really wild circumstances. Yeah. Like we're not talking Manowar, Exo, and that type of stuff, but like Faith, Quantum and Woody to an extent, Archer, and what's his face? Yeah. So no, that excites me, and I bet my dude probably just didn't order it because I literally would have been the only person to read it.
But I'm gonna say this, dude, probably the most fun read I've had all week. And I read 17 books in a 30-hour window, and I'm talking she's in the midst of peril, she's making Doctor Who references and Firefly references,
It's because
Battlestar Galactica
Faith
references.
is a nerd, and that's the other thing that was always great about that character is when she finds out she has powers, she's like, "Wait, I'm like," and then
Yeah. And that's the thing. Reading this felt like talking to one of my friends.
aw, I'm right here,
So
bro.
when we can schedule it.
Continue.
Continue. But this was really, really fun to read. I think it might only be a 2-issue thing.
That kind of makes me sad, but at the same time, yeah, I get that.
But this was fun. This would make me go back and read Faith at some point too. So that was good. Boy Wonder, the Black Label book for Damien, which is basically feels like a fairy tale-ish retelling of Damien's story through a young, hopeful Damien's eyes, but it gives me very strong Samurai Jack vibes, like Jindy Tartovsky vibes. Like, check out some of the art with this. Like, it literally looks like it could be Primal or Samurai Jack, something like that. But it's been really fun. This first issue basically is Damien seeing what value Dick Grayson has and why his father kept him around, and him learning life lessons.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, it's him learning life lessons from Dick Grayson and Barbara, and the next issue is going to be him learning from Red Hood. This
That
was
shouldn't
fun.
be traumatic at all.
Yeah, right. But it was well written. It was funny, but this really felt like I was watching something Jindy Tartovsky made. So, and like normally, this isn't the I'm cool and sleek and I'm a BA Damien. This was
You think so?
This has some wonder to it, like
Aw.
in some of the storytelling of it. So enjoyed that. What are we at? How many I got left? Okay. I got two.
I think you
two.
hit. Oh no, you didn't say the other one yet.
Batman 147. Just continuing down the Batman arc, and here's why it's going to make it in the list. Why it made it instead of.
There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on in this one. And why I went with this over Nightwing is simply the fact it feels like we're gaining traction to actually finishing the story.
I will say it's the only annoyance I have with where we're at now. I'm kind of to the point of get to the point, get there.
Get on with it. You finally.
Also, technically, a new Batsuit.
Yes, we do have a new Batsuit. We have Damien coming to terms with realizing that he's been rickrolled by
I didn't
Zura
hate
and
that.
R or Failsafe. That was good. The fact that he's building a Justice League of Zura and R's, basically.
And Tim?
Yeah, and Tim actually got to have some good stuff.
Yeah.
And then what the crap is up with the Zura and Robin?
Right.
Yeah, there's a Zura and Robin. So just, I don't know, like, where'd this kid come from?
I thought, based on what was going back and forth there, the Zura and Robin is basically a version of Tim, was my takeaway. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but, like, physically, who is it?
I don't know. That was the only confusing thing. I was like, so you just told us a whole kind of thing with Tim. So is it Tim? Is it not? It wasn't super clear.
No, well, Tim showed up to take care of Bruce.
I know. That's why I was like, there's too much going on here for my brain.
Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like this is somebody we don't know who it is.
Okay, that's fair. Because at the same time, I was like, it doesn't really look. I actually flipped back a few times. I'm like, is it him? Is that the point to this?
It had enough going on that it retained in my memory after it was over.
Yep.
So that I feel like it earns its spot with that. And then the other one was, which, by the way, for all their positives with these books, they need to label crap better.
Well, and now that we do like the part 2 or like this is the quarter story we're giving you after the story thing, it's like, yo.
This is Spectrograph, number 1. Stylish big cover from Distillery. It's a James Tynion book. And effectively, this is a terrible mother who leaves her child in a high chair for several hours and goes to try and do a real estate deal. And she's on the phone
Okay.
with her best friend, trying to get her best friend to leave work to go take care of the child she just left stuck in a high chair alone at home, because she needs this money to be able to take care of the kid, whatever. And she gets to this big
That's a
fancy.
bad look, fam.
Oh, dude, it made me so uncomfortable reading it. Because
I'm not going to say, but I am going to say right here that I believe that's Distillery's goal in life with 2/3 of their current catalog
is to make you uncomfortable.
is to make you feel uncomfortable.
So look, okay, check this out. Check the visual. Check the middle panel. As you're telling the story, it keeps cutting to pictures of the baby getting more and more distressed.
Yeah, that's not comforting at all.
And then to the point, like, so then she arrives at the mansion she's supposed to give the tour of, and it's a bunch of, I guess, sexy vampires. I don't know. And
Go on.
yeah, but they're like paranormal, sexy people, and they're there because the dude who had built the house built it to be able to create ghosts, because there were no ghosts. There was no afterlife. There was no anything else, and he didn't think that was fair, so he was trying to manufacture spirits, demons, and ghosts. And so she tries to flip this on, and apparently she does, and she gets sucked to a ghost dimension. But literally, she gets hit in the head by the main sexy vampire lady, and like all it does is do a close up on the kid as she's getting knocked out.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I was like, this is uncomfortable. And you got like this nice shot of her being ripped from her flesh and put back into it. And it's very sci-fi. It's very visually jarring. And it's one of those, I don't know what's happening, but I'll keep reading vibes. Art's great. And but yeah. That's my main pulls, sir. What about you?
Let's see. I read lots of things. But a good number of them should not be surprising to anyone. But I am late to the party, and I will not apologize to Todd or anyone else. But he'll be thankful to know that Redcoat #1 did make this time around. So this is second printing, because all of the stuff in the unnamed universe, which you've all heard me talk about, hit second prints because people are liking this stuff. And let me just tell you, like, these are hefty books, but they're also pretty. Like, I mean, this is a Jeff Johns drawn book, and Jeff Johns has like 3 books, maybe more, that he's doing for this, and Jeff just has that style about him. But this book is all the different characters.
I forgot Jeff Johns made art. It's been that long.
Right, that's fair. But so alternate history universe, right? All kinds of crazy stuff. Like I said, when I read the kind of all-encompassing one shot that kind of gave us little pieces of all this, that it feels like Valiant did in the heyday. And I think that's fair. So the Red Coat is literally about a British soldier all the way back in 1775, basically interrupting like this human sacrifice type thing where Benjamin Franklin was going to become immortal. Just going to let that sentence linger. But they interrupt that. Ben doesn't get immortality. This random British soldier does instead. So he can't die. Well, he dies, but he comes back a lot as him, not like, reincarnation stuff. Like, he dies and he like wakes up later. So people unbury him and that kind of stuff. So this is the journey of following this guy through history, for lack of a better word, at significant events in our history. And the end of this book, a child, Albert Einstein, digs him up and is like, there's something interesting about you. To the not dead, clearly still British soldier, So this immortal dude and boy wonder Albert Einstein are about to go on an adventure. I can't make that up. It's freaking great. Sacrificers is continuing on its journey of telling a fairly complicated Greek tragedy story, but also I'm pretty sure I said when this journey started that even when we didn't really know where it was going with the demigods and everything are basically taking these sacrifices every year to squeeze the joy out of them so that they can live forever. That this book ultimately would actually be about the bird that was supposed to be a sacrifice surviving and probably coming back and kicking all kinds of booty. Yeah, that's basically where we're at now. Is the gods have figured out that the people now kind of know that it's not a great thing, but he goes home after surviving everything, and they're all like, "You're supposed to be dead," and his entire home has been flattened. And of course, they think it's his fault because he didn't die like a good little boy. So there's this interesting discussion happening right now of no, I'm telling you, the thing that you told us about is all a lie, and it's actually terrible. And you're all terrible people for supporting it for so long. And they're like, yeah, that's what someone would say if they like didn't do what they were supposed to. And now our town's been flattened, so it's your fault. So yeah, this story continues to be kind of heavy and interesting, but the redemptive arc of this bird / person is flipping the script, such as it were, in their society. So we're starting to see what I would say is the other half of the story, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very Rick Remender. It's why I started reading it. I guess it's why I'm still here. So, this may be a shock to some people. I read a Marvel book and I kind of liked it. But Garth Ennis's Get Fury is, I'm gonna say this, it's at least interesting. Art's good. We're getting a throwback story about Frank Castle and original eye patch Nick Fury, white dude eye patch Nick Fury, as a CIA operative and everything, but it's told in the Vietnam era. And basically, Fury's been captured by the NVA, the Viet Cong, etc. And the U.S. government's like, that guy kind of knows too much. So, Frank, we need you to go kill him. That's the setup.
Okay.
That's the book. It's violent. It's in Marvel's Max category. So
you mean Max label?
yes,
Like, mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's spicy. So not for the children's.
So I've got a question, and this is sorry, off topic. If Disney Plus and Max are merging, does that mean that Disney and Marvel are technically merging?
You meant DC and yeah.
Sorry, if Disney Plus and Max are merging, like the streaming services are merging later this summer.
They're gonna have both. Yeah.
That means they're going to have DC and Marvel together.
What a world.
So
dogs and cats living together.
I feel like that's foretelling that we're about to, everything's going to get bought out. But go on.
The end is nigh.
Mm-hmm.
Rorschach's Journal.
Yeah, thank you.
May 11th, I recorded a podcast.
May 12th, whatever. Forgot my own birthday.
How dare you? This is not a new book. It is technically an old book that is a new book because it was Kickstarter / all that other things. But
that's the one with Eastman, right?
Eastman, Bishop, Avalon, lots of different people. But this was a project that they did on their own that is now coming into reprint and by Image and available again. So Drawing Blood is absolutely a good time because it is Eastman and Ben and everybody. So it's the same thing, kind of like in Last Ronin, that the art goes back and forth to from Eastman style to. I'm trying to find pages that aren't adult content. Because this is another one of those. It's an adult book, but the funny thing is, it's a story about a struggling comic book creator that has created these 4 ragamuffin cats that are basically the Ninja Turtle foil in this thing. Yeah, but there's lots of other things going on here. So there's this back and forth about comics, the struggle of creating. There's some allusions to selling particular properties and not necessarily seeing the benefit to them. There's a lot going on here, but it is a fun journey, and it is obviously extremely well written, and the creative team are a bunch of folks that we kind of love and adore. So I'm unapologetically plugging their new old book. But finally on my list, as it should come to absolutely nobody's shock, is Rare Flavors is almost there. This is almost the last one. And they kind of finished telling the Hindu story about the good guy that goes after this particular demon who is a cannibal, because we have proven it is a cannibal book, except he's not human, which makes it better somehow. I don't know. It's complicated. And that's the point, is we're at a point in this story where it is complicated, that I think this book was designed that you kind of feel bad for this particular quote unquote demon in some way, because he's been talking about basically that his entire existence and running from this other figure that normally beats him. And that's kind of how this is unfolding. He's been traveling the world and basically learning the cuisines of the human construct, not literally how to cook humans, but food that we prepare and are amazing. And that he's like, I found like real food and that's amazing and stuff. But he still has this thing that he like has to eat people occasionally, which, yeah, I guess that's kind of a character flaw a little bit.
Okay.
But then the total story also is that he randomly hires this one dude to film this all as a documentary. And they've been alluding to in the end of the last 2 books that something big happens with this documentary. Like the guy who filmed it's being dressed at an award show in the last 2 panels of the last 2 books. And the last book, I think, is going to live entirely there, because basically the demon disappeared and went home to wherever he's been hiding. And he's been writing letters throughout all this to someone, and you meet the character that he's been writing those letters to at the end of this book. So I think the end sale point is about to hit on there, and it's still just, it's really well done. And I don't want to undersell that. So it's weird, but it's interesting. And that's kind of my jam.
Well, you would hope after this many months of investment that it would pay off for you.
I would think so. And so far, so good. So
Right. That's always a nice thing to see.
we're about to find out, because let's just say, I think we both have read plenty of comics where they didn't stick to the landing.
So I'm doing a yard sale on the 25th, and half of it are books that didn't stick the landing.
Right, there you go. It's like, oh.
Yep.
Oh, yep. All right. So what you got for those number 1, that the numero uno that was above all the other ones?
I'm going to say it was above the other ones. I had a lot of number 1s, but I guess so. Yeah, this one was tracking, but Ain't No Grave, Scotty Young book. And so this is good storytelling. Above all else, it has some very after just watching Shogun and some other stuff, it has some Shogun vibes. It has some good cowboy story vibes, but basically in context without doing the back and forth Tarantino stuff, which is what the book does. It is very Tarantino-y. woman used to be the most fearsome gunslinger in the West, like robber, not like a good guy. Met a dude, fell in love, had a kid, and I guess she's got tuberculosis and is dying. So she sets out to become a robber gunslinger again, and is trying to go somewhere that she's not supposed to go. Like her horse won't even take one step once they reach a certain point. She has to go on foot, and she goes and she pays a toll, almost like the fairy thing, like to the underworld or whatever else. And the last page of the book is that you realize that she's going to kill death because she doesn't want her kid to lose her.
Hmm.
So you've got and at some point in time, there's a ghost baptism where she almost gets sucked under the water because its spirits come returning to find peace. But it's Scotty Young telling a supernatural gunslinger story, and it's a whole vibe. Merry Christmas. It was fun.
That's a thing.
It was really fun. The artwork's dope. It almost has. Do you ever play Darksiders? The game where like it's the bulky angel demon, whatever, fighting the forces of hell type stuff. Like it's when she's in full Western gear. Check that out.
Ooh.
Let me find the one of her in her full suit of armory stuff because that's what looks impressive. But she literally keeps nodding off in between storytelling points and going between the past and the future, or the past and the present. And so like check out the armor bottom panel there.
Yo.
But it's a gorgeous book. It's really beautifully done. This is a nice full page spread. But overall it's been really solid. And when it gets to the page, you're like, oh, I'm here to kill death. You're like, oh, and that's just literally hard cut.
Just like, okay.
Yeah. This is only going to be 5 issues, which I'm enjoying the 5-issue format lately. A lot of books that I've really liked have been a cut hard 5 issues. So yeah. What about you?
All right. Is everyone sitting down? Good.
No, you, sir. Sit down.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Right,
Now we're good. Now we're good.
Good. Everyone's good? All right, good. Can't believe I'm going to say this. Marvel's Blood Hunt, #1.
Okay.
This is Marvel's event book for the summer. I picked it up because I feel that it is my comic book duty to this audience to read everything, to give things a chance. And Blood Hunt, other than the fact that they're doing the standard Big 2 event thing, which means there's going to be 50,000 books on this list that I'm absolutely not going to read.
Right.
And I read 2 just to see. I did my homework because of the first 2 weeks of Blood Hunt are out. So I read a couple others just to be like, okay, cool. Will you succeed? And the answer is probably no. So you might be able to read the mainline ones here and be good, which there'll only be 5 of. But Blood Hunt is Marvel's rip on DC's vampires. They can claim it's not, but it absolutely is. Because DC is also bringing back their vampires by the end of summer. So here we are. But the premise of this is that the sun gets blocked out / the sun dies. So there's no more natural sunlight available to Earth. And while that's kind of working itself out, lots of vampires start showing up on Earth. And all the Avengers and other Marvel superheroes are like, well, that can't be good. And then they also start figuring out that anyone that is associated with the Darkhold or any dark force, that there seems to be something bad going on there. So they're getting everybody together. There's vampires everywhere. Art's really good. That's the other thing is like, okay, since Marvel's like, we're going to do this, they did good. They chose good. They chose well. So literally all over the world, vampires are showing up everywhere. The Avengers are having a bad time. For some reason, Latveria, Doom's country, has a vampire barrier and it sets them on fire. And Doom's like, good, good.
As he should.
Right. He's like, I must take care of my people like a good leader would, like Doom would do. And then, of course,
We're gonna build a wall of fire. It's gonna be huge.
It'll be huge and it'll be great. And it was. Here we are.
Atlantis does not have a wall. Wakanda does not have a wall like this.
And so Doom's sitting over there like, let's go make sure the people are happy because happy people are loyal people. So good job, Doom. Obviously, Blade shows up at some point because that has to happen for a lot of reasons, contractually and otherwise. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you two big spoilers. So if you want to find out the holy wow, this happened. Yeah, skip to the end of the episode. But
this isn't the end.
They figure it is, but they figure out that you can kill vampires by putting wooden stakes through their hearts because that works. So there's some bad stuff happening, and Thor accidentally takes one to the dome. So it seems pretty likely Thor's out. That really upsets the other Avengers there, and they don't have a good time. There's a conversation a little later because basically the first book wraps up with Doctor Strange in Sanctum Sanctorum going through all of his books, basically trying to piece this all together, going, if I don't figure this out, everybody's going to become vampires and that's going to suck. So that checks out. And so Blade goes to see him and be like, how's that whole thing going? And Blade basically shares that the Avengers are in fact compromised and or down. And Doctor Strange is like, well, that sucks, like a lot. And him and Blade are going back and forth over trying to figure out how to fix this. And he talks about seeking the Darkhold. So we're getting all the things that you're supposed to care about in Marvel right now. Blade's back, Darkhold, vampires everywhere. And they're having this conversation back and forth of, well, who would black out the sun to allow all this stuff to happen? And basically the final panel, it's why I'm giving this to you now, because that's where I was like, okay, it's Blade basically being like, haha, it's me. And he's going to bite Strange.
Yeah, so, not surprising.
Yeah, so at the same time, it's kind of like, well, duh. And maybe save that one for a little later, Marvel. But all that to say, it's really well drawn. It's not the most obnoxious, overwhelming, throw everything Marvel into a book I've seen them attempt to do in the last 5+ years. So other than the fact that they want you to read like 17 side stories to get the whole thing, which is typical of a lot of these folks. And like I said, I read 2 this week and I was like, I'm good. One of the exceptions to that, though, is they are doing a Union Jack one shot that they're calling Union Jack the Ripper. And so I'm totally reading that one. Because even if that's terrible, that's like that's pretty good. That's cheeky. So okay, Marvel. I thought I would be reading this and being like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever read, but for the sake of kind of the setup and where they're trying to go with it, I don't hate it.
Listen, Marvel's about to get enough of my money with Gail Simone coming back to X-Men. So
and so, well, there you go. There's plenty of other things going on in Marvel right now, but other than the fact that I'm pretty sure I said this when we talked about this coming up as the event this year, that this should have run in Halloween. Get better. Of course, DC, like I said, is going to do their Return of DC Vampires, I think before the end of the summer too. So fine, but lost opportunity. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you get why it's that way, right?
Yeah, I know. I just don't like it.
Well, because they need to be able to have it in trade by Halloween.
Yeah, I still don't like it. I'm reading about vampires in May. Come on.
It's because you're reading the early access things we call comic books.
Ooh. Is that what these are?
Yeah.
Oh, well. I guess so. In fact, that means that's going to do it for us here at the Polis Podcast, episode 101. It's now going to require extra syllables for me to say the number of episodes that we have done each week. Is now in the books. It's now in your ears. It's in your eyeballs. You've heard it. You've seen it. And it's true. You can catch us on YouTube, so don't miss that. We show lots of wonderful things like Faith and Fandom comics. Not comics. Well, also comics. There is a comic. You can't get the comic on the website now, right?
I think so.
Good. You can get comics and stickers from Hector over there. But as many of you know, we take this epic journey of podcasts and fandom with a lot of other amazing podcasts over on the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. So be sure to visit lovethynerd.com for more info, previous episodes. Maybe you'll find yourselves a new show and all that good stuff. But wait, there's more. You can catch Gasp. It's amazing. You can also now stream us on the GLU network, which is a streaming platform available on them Rokus and smart TVs. You got a dumb TV, I guess you'll have to look at it on your phone or whatnot. iPhone and Android apps do exist, but Glue basically exists to unlock the inspirational value of faith-centric programming, which we're kind of occasionally doing that kind of stuff over here. They're partnering with all kinds of other Christian content creators like Love Thy Nerd, us at the Polis Podcast. Well, and
wink.
So we're proud to join our friends God Squad Church, Unity Gaming as basically the first group of nerd culture channels over on the Glue platform. So download that app today, search for Love Thy Nerd. You can see Hector and my occasionally smiling face when we do wonderful things and whatnot here at the Polis. So as always, Hector and I do want to thank you for choosing us as your primary collegiate. It's collegiate comics this week. It's comics knowledge factory because I'm no, it's comics. If it's anything else, no. So don't leave us hanging. Rate, review the show. You can find us on just about any podcasting and or visual platform nowadays. So iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, Glue. We're there. So thanks for listening, for watching, all that good stuff. Happy birthday to the one, the only Hector. Remember to send him cake via the now trademark Cake app. So remember, kids, read more comics.